This morning, Senator Rick Scott met with Venezuelan community leaders in Tampa to discuss the current situation in the South American country and to talk about the U.S. commitment to fighting for democracy there. On Sunday, Venezuelan doctors protested at the country's border with Colombia. They demanded the military allow U.S. humanitarian aid to cross into the country. President Nicolas Maduro has vowed not to let the supplies pass, saying Venezuela is not a nation of beggars. Opposition leader Juan Guaido, who requested that international assistance, urged the military to allow the aid in. He said this standoff could lead to clashes.